Hi, I'm Peter Knight. I want to talk this morning about the way that you go about using your arms and also some of the illusions, because it looks like your arms do so much more work than what they actually do. And of course, in the fact that it looks like they do more, most players tend to do too much with their arms. Now, often that comes from the thought of if I do more with my arms, I'm going to have more power in my shot. Makes sense logically. The way the golf swing works, not necessarily so. So first of all, a couple of things. When the club swings back and through, it looks like there's a lot of arm lift and it looks like there's a lot of movement required through the shoulders for the swing. If I swing the club back to the top of the swing, we'll first of all look at the left arm and what it's doing. So if I go back to the top of the golf swing and then rotate my body back to square, so if I just turn my body back to here, we can see that my arms have moved from here, slightly forward of the center line of my body, to here, where they're slightly on the right side of the center line of my body. So they've only moved across my body a little bit, but they've lifted, and they haven't lifted a long way. The rest of the movement, which looks so long, is really just pure rotation. So from address, if I just allow my arms to lift a little bit, just back to here, no problem. So the movement of my arm, my left arm, from address is really, it just lifts that way. So again, I don't need much rotation, much movement through my shoulder as I'm swinging back and through. And the reason I'm emphasizing shoulders is because a lot of people feel like they don't have a great range of flexibility through their shoulder joints, and therefore they're not able to play golf effectively. And as you can see, there's not that much required, particularly right arm. So a lot of players who've come through and they've had shoulder injuries or shoulder reconstructions or even frozen shoulder, then they still have, even people with frozen shoulder, still have the ability to have some sort of movement, provided that the pain's not there. So from address, back to the top of the swing, come back to address. Now I just look at my right arm. So my right arm has done the same thing as the left. It's moved from a little bit forward of the center line of my body to here. And that's it. So there's no big external rotation, lifting, or anything like that. Quite a small movement. Now when I do that, it keeps my arms sort of in front of my body as I go back. So I'm never getting my arms around beside my body, which I can feel the stretch and the tension of doing. And that's quite common in the golf swing. So even practicing that little drill that I demonstrated there, where you're just lifting the club up through the center line of your body, and from the side you can see that I haven't lifted it up very much. If I rotate from there without allowing my arms to drift more, I've got great position at the top of the golf swing. When the club swings down, as my body rotates back the other way, my arms will move across my body a little bit, but of course they won't stay there. They'll come back more toward the middle of my body at impact. So when I set myself up, my hands and arms are a little forward of the center line of my body. When I get to the top of the swing, they're slightly right side of the center. And when I reach impact, so if I come to impact and then move my body back to square, my hands are in the center. So they've moved from forward of the center line of my body at address, slightly right of the center of my body, and lifted at the top of the swing, and then around about the center at impact. But again, it looks like so much more than that. My right arm, and this is really, really common with players who swing the club back and their right arm moves behind the body too much. Of course, the left goes with it, but often the right arm. So when I swing back, if we're watching from down the line here, as my right arm goes back, if I imagine a line running down the seam of my shirt or my jumper, my elbow never goes behind that. So as I swing back to the top of the swing, again, my arms stayed in front of the center line of my body. Again, doing that little drill there from here and turning back, same position. So if you're watching your swing from this position here, and you see as the club goes back that your elbow pulls behind you, then your arms are in an awkward position and in an incorrect position. That's hard to say in the morning. So back to the top of the swing, just to here, and then from there, down and through. So the movement, again, is quite a simple movement. There's not a huge range that your arms go through. Check and monitor that. So when I play a shot, Again, it's the illusion is that there's quite a bit of movement through the arms. But even if you're watching that movement at a slower speed, you'll still see that those arms don't move right behind the body. They don't lift a long way back and through. So the movement is actually fairly simple. So practice that movement, do the drill, have a look at your movement in a mirror or a reflective window or something like that. Even record your swing, have a look and see if you match the movements against what now appears to be minimal movement compared to what you would expect, and see how you go.